Do you want a melee Spellblade mage that's all about melting your enemies into hot piles of goo with burning and shocked effects while dropping extremely powerful and unrelenting meteors onto their heads? Do you want to make your enemies explode then chain lightning onto their friends while all your weapons are permanently shocking? Do you want to laugh at resistant enemies as you have two damage types and laugh at both ranged and melee enemies as you have options to overcome both? Well, the Shock Burn Meteor Spellblade build might just be for you. So in this video, I'll go through everything you need to know to get this build up and running right from the beginning of the game all the way till the end. I'll go through your character and your companion's skills, abilities, gear and enchantments, as well as explain how it all works in practice. So buckle up. First, a reminder that I'm celebrating being close to 250k subscribers by giving away a ton of prizes. If you want to be in the running to win a 4090, a console of your choice and more, follow the link below and keep an eye out in this video for the purple code word. Let's begin.
I'm Commander Shepard, and Dantix is my favorite channel on the Citadel.
You're not getting a discount.
What?
Usually I run through the skill tree first, but for this build it's good to see how the gear interacts with the abilities and skills we'll be picking up, as well as how our companions help with their abilities and their gear. I've made this build not require any uniques, though feel free to swap some in. These pieces will be all found during normal exploration. The first is Mage's Gambit. It gives us both electric and fire damage, which we'll be using for the build, and its final attack places a burning or shocked affliction stack based on the current orb attack, which rotates on final hits of a combo string, which will be buffed again with our skills. Afflictions all deal damage over time, and with this build we'll be aiming to stack them to the roof. The weapon I've picked up is Thorn of Misfortune, which gives us more affliction stacks, but any can be swapped in here. The staff will be equipping, but not using much benefits us without having to have it equipped. Scorched Staff gives us 40% more fire damage, which is massive. The Death Mask gives us bonuses to affliction damage and duration. Jumper's Daft Leathers gives us extra mana and mana regeneration so we can get off multiple meteors in each fight. Then we have Warden's Straps, which adds to our fire damage and applies burning to those around you. We'll be healing less because of it, but we have Bellara to help in that area. All Mother's Corpse boosts blast ability damage, which is the type of both our mana spenders. It also grants us mana back on critical, which we'll be doing a lot, and our blast abilities get added damage from shocking weapons, which we have multiple ways of gaining thanks to these skills in our skill tree, and Davrin, which we'll go through soon, so we'll always have shocking weapons up. Unburnable Brand increases the damage of our burning stacks, and Warden's Signet increases fire damage and makes it so other damage type bonuses applies to your fire damage. In terms of runes, it's very simple. You want to boost your fire, electric and ability damage. And for enchantments, you want fire and electric damage, max burning stacks, max shock stacks, blast damage and area damage. In terms of companions, Bellara, Davrin, Harding, Lucanus and Tash all work for this build, but I prefer Bellara for her shocking effects and automatic heal, as well as Davrin for his fire and burning support, as well as his ability to combo with Bellara. So in terms of abilities, we equip Bellara with Replenish for a reliable heal. With the passive Contingency, it will automatically activate when you get to low health, saving you in many situations since you are a mage jumping into melee range. It will also grant you invulnerable with Spirit Shield, letting you get revenge and go ham for a short while. We also get her ability, Galvanized Tear, which sucks enemies up in an area and clumps them together, perfect for when we want to drop a giant flaming rock on their heads. It also can be upgraded to apply shocked and electric damage every second, as well as deal more damage per shocked stack, which is perfect for our build. We also give her Enfeebling Shot simply to apply a weakness for Davrin to detonate with Death from Above. In most situations, we'll be using this skill, especially after getting her Hero of the Veilguard upgrades. So in terms of the Hero of the Veilguard status, you want to pick the outcome that gives her the passive Chain Lightning. It'll make it so her weapon attacks Chain Lightning to shocked targets, dealing high damage. Just keep in mind that every single target is going to be shocked. It also passively increases the shocked effect strength across the board, which is very nice. The Veilguard status also gives her the Reborn Leathers, making it so all detonations now apply shocked as well as 200 electric bonus damage. You can see where I'm going with this build. Soon you'll see that applying shock will also apply burn, and applying burn will also apply shock, so it kind of works together to just keep applying those effects. You'll see that soon with Davrin as well. Her bow, Bronze Branch, makes it so when you command her to attack a target, they become shocked. Her ring, Jumper's Compass, makes her critical hits apply shocked and also apply to all enemies around the target when defeated by a crit. By the way, companion gear applies to your character unless otherwise stated, so these are your crits spreading shocked. Insane. Then we have Calibration Crystal because we need at least one revive charge just in case. For enchantments, we want to increase the stacks of burning or shocked, while attack my target applies burning or shocked. Really lean into it. Bellara is mostly there for her ability to spot heal you, clump enemies together, apply the shock status, and most of all, combo with Davrin. She'll also come in handy to output some electric damage against those fire-resistant enemies. Whereas Davrin is there to detonate weakness, taunt, apply burning, and much more. Now, I mentioned a taunt. Davrin's battle cry gives you a way to keep the damage off of you, but you don't need to cast it. With Overprotective, he'll automatically use the ability on a separate cooldown every 60 seconds, meaning between him and Bellara, you'll be kept relatively safe. Assigned Strike is a simple ability. It, with upgrades, will strike 3 different targets for high stagger and knockdown while applying the burning effect. An amazing way to spread the effect when you don't have a detonation target. But you should also be focusing on comboing with Bellara, as she can apply weakness and Death from Above can detonate it. With the passive Positive Reinforcement, you'll get the Rally Party effect. Put a pin in that, we'll be returning soon. With the passive Barrage, you reduce this ability's cooldown if you detonate, which you will be using it for. Select the Hero of the Veilguard outcome that gets you this passive, Defender. It lowers Asan's cooldowns, and using them gives you the deflect status, increasing your defense. But we mostly select that path for the gear piece, Grey Benefactor. All detonations are now dealt as fire damage, and you deal plus 25% more fire damage for each stack of burning on the target, which we have increased in multiple ways. So with Davrin's chest piece, we'll be dealing 100% more fire damage when targets have 4 stacks of burning, and that can get much, much higher. With his weapon, Blight Killer, forcing him to attack a target makes them vulnerable to fire damage, as well as boost the vulnerability effect. Asan's Fury grants the shocking weapons effect every time you rally party, so take that pin out, because we'll be getting that effect every time we combo detonate. Keep in mind, shocking weapons will be upgraded multiple ways across our skill tree. Finally, with Worn Whittler, you convert all Davrin's damage to fire, for obvious reasons. For enchantments, we want to increase the stacks of burning or shocked, while the attack my target applies burning or shocked. The opposite of what you gave Bellara, since you can only have one enchantment type applied across all gear and companions. So now that you have a good idea of what our gear and companions can provide, you'll now see this complicated skill tree and get a better idea of what we are trying to achieve. The starting point is the middle, and we want to aim for Meteor as fast as possible. That will take us through to Wall of Fire, which is a duration control ability. We don't focus on these keywords at all, but the nice benefit of this ability is that it's on a cooldown, meaning casting it won't take away our mana we'll be using for Meteor. The ability also applies constant burning stacks to enemies standing in it, which in turn applies shocked. But I'm jumping ahead. With the passive Inner Focus, we'll be generating a lot more mana with our light attacks, since most enemies will either have burning or shocked or both on them at all times. Then we get Meteor. This will deal huge damage in a large AoE, as well as apply the burning effect to all those hit. It's a blast area type ability. Both of these keywords will be upgrading with passives, and if you remember, we already did with gear and enchantments. It detonates Sundered, but we'll be using our companions to detonate, as those companions that apply the Sundered effect don't work as well in my opinion with this build. Flames of Inspiration passive gives you Rally Party when you kill a burning enemy, which will be all of them. If you remember with Davrin, Rally Party gives you the shocking weapons effect, making your weapon attacks all deal electric damage. It's at this point that you want to hunt around for key passives, as you won't be level 20 yet and able to get your specialization. So let's talk more about shocking weapons. Imbued Duration makes the effect last longer, as well as giving you the effect when you detonate. Imbued Takedown makes shocking weapons deal more stagger, as well as giving you the effect when you take down an enemy. And finally, Imbued Reaction improves shocking weapon damage and grants it to you on perfect defense. The path you take to get key passives around a tree is up to you. Follow this build and you'll see many that improve your abilities or work with burning or shocked effects to multiply your effectiveness. One example to the southeast is Nexus Shock, which chains electric damage when you hit a target with 3 shock stacks, which will be all of them, so it'll be chaining around like crazy. Especially from big area attacks like Meteor, as each instance of Nexus Shock is independent. Now, as soon as you hit 20, start investing in the Spellblade specialization, picking up every passive as they open up at 30 and 40. The ultimate, Thunderous End, is better than your basic ultimate, even though that one does fire damage and burning. This one applies shock in a large area and does high damage. That will matter in a second. Next, you'll unlock the ability Void Blade. We'll be using Meteor over this in most cases, but against a fire resistant enemy, this is the skill of choice. It deals high damage, but best of all, it's a blast ability, so it'll get the bonuses we gave Meteor. With blast efficiency, now all your blast abilities will cost 50 mana less, which means half mana for your Meteor and Void Blade. You'll be able to get off multiple in a fight before having to wait for your mana to regenerate. There are a few passives here that buff your Arcane Bomb effect, so be sure to use your Orb and Dagger loadout. Best of all are the final passives on the right. The small passive Antiven's Kiss increases your burning and shocked maximum stacks, and Electrical Burns makes it so applying the burning effect applies the shocked effect too, and vice versa. So yeah, this is why we focus on improving both shocked and burning, as targets will be absolutely melting to damage over time effects, especially with combo explosions thanks to the Hero of the Veilguard gear pieces we got on Bellara and Davrin. With Shocking Tactician, we'll be making enemies burst with damaging electric AoE blasts around them when at maxed shock stacks, which will be easy to achieve with Electrical Burns. So you can see how everything just comes together perfectly for this build. So how does it work in practice? It's fairly straightforward. You want to open by commanding your companions to attack targets, then setting off a meteor or two. You can then use your companion abilities to deal some extra afflictions or group up enemies, though getting off a combo explosion is, in most cases, the right move. You want to then dance around in combat using your light attacks to stack the Arcane Bomb effect, then heavy attacks to detonate. Light attacks will get you back mana fast, so be sure to use the full set of light attacks all the way to the final one, which will apply an affliction stack, and cast Meteor when you have the mana for it. Use Wall of Fire when close to enemies since it stacks those burning and shocked afflictions fast. Your enemies will have max stacks quickly, and you'll be doing some extreme fire and electric damage passively without even trying from passive effects, gear, and your shocking weapons. If enemies are fire resistant, use Void Blade instead of Meteor and keep up the pressure. This build doesn't need to stop applying damage for any reason. If you're low health, swap to your staff and keep the damage up. Manually cast Davrin's Taunt or Bellara's Heal. You're not the tankiest class out there, so if you can learn parrying and dodging, that will help. So that's everything. What do you think of the build? Let me know below. If you like this kind of content, let the algorithm know as well. For everything RPG and Dragon Age, you're in the right place. Ciao friends.